Now to an inspiring story about a young man who put his country's needs ahead of his own education during the Second World War. KWQC's Fran Riley with the story of an 89-year-old man who will soon go to the head of the class.
That's me there.
I'm very, very proud of him.
Amazing story. Mac's brother Ben made arrangements with the Rock Island School District. March 27th at 5:45 p.m. Mac will receive his diploma at the Rock Island High School Library. And if you have a story idea for Fran, we'd love to hear it. Email it to news@kwqc.com. Long-awaited graduation.
Oh yeah,
there.
Good for him. Good for him. That's
Amazing story.
Yes.
And that was my favorite part. Not a mechanical problem in that plane the entire time.
Yeah, very impressive.
Very impressive story. So we're talking about these amazing temperatures.
Yeah.
The sun is shining. I can't wait to get outside, but we could be seeing some rain.
That's right. Some spotty precipitation, a slight chance for a shower, maybe a thunderstorm or two. Okay. And that's mainly going to be confined to the southern counties of our viewing area. So a beautiful day setting up across much of the region with temperatures expected to rise well into the 70s, possibly near the 80-degree mark in some locations. And more of the same to come. I'll have the details in your first alert forecast. Yes.
All right, great. Well, coming up in your next half hour on the news at noon, everybody out of the pool. A looming deadline for hotels to have their pools accessible to those with disabilities may shut down those very facilities. We'll explain when your news continues. Welcome back to your news at noon. As we inch closer to the spring and summer travel seasons, unfortunately, you may find that some hotel pools are closed. Today is the deadline for hotels to have their pools in compliance with the latest accessibility laws for the disabled. Starting today, hotel pools and whirlpools must have pool lifts to provide disabled people equal access, or at least have a plan in place to acquire a lift. If they don't, they face possible civil penalties. Former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich begins a new chapter in life this afternoon, and it starts in prison. Blagojevich stepped out of his house early this morning, knowing it'll be a long time before he spends another night in his own bed. Blagojevich headed off to Colorado to serve a 14-year sentence in federal prison. A jury convicted him of 17 corruption-related charges last June. Last night, Blagojevich said he should have been more humble, but this morning he couldn't help saying he had a clear conscience. This is the last thing he said before he left. Take a listen.
Saying goodbye is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I'll see you guys when I see you. I'll see you around. Whoa. What time's your flight?
Blagojevich will share a cell the size of a large walk-in closet with at least one other inmate. There are 5 days to go before the Illinois primaries, and in the 17th Congressional District, Democrats are battling it out to see which one of them will take on Congressman Bobby Schilling. Health Executive Cheri Bustos, Freeport, Illinois Mayor George Gallrapp, and Augustana Administrator Greg Aguilar are all competing. The winner will go up against incumbent Republican Congressman Schilling in November.
The big thing is I think that we're looking forward, and we're going to show that contrast very clearly throughout the campaign season.
And KWQC will have complete Illinois primary election coverage Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. Tune in for all the results. Republican presidential candidate Newt Gingrich was busy campaigning in northern Illinois this morning. Gingrich says he's not giving up after a stinging loss in Tuesday's Alabama and Mississippi primaries. In an appearance last night, the former House Speaker continued to attack the Obama administration on gas prices. And a reminder, tomorrow is the last day for early voting in Illinois. The state has early voting in all elections to help people who are unable to get to the polls on Election Day. Early voting always starts 22 days before and runs until 5 days before an election. The President and First Lady hosted a state dinner for the British Prime Minister at the White House last night. The President and Mrs. Obama held their 6th state dinner, this one honoring British Prime Minister David Cameron and his wife Samantha. With Mr. Obama quoting Winston Churchill, the two spoke about their country's alliance with each other.
It is a pleasure to work with someone with moral strength.
Virginia Tech has been found negligent for the deadly campus shootings that took place in 2007. After deliberating for 3 hours Wednesday, a jury found Virginia Tech negligent for delaying a campus warning after the first shootings on April 16, 2007. The wrongful death civil suit was brought by the parents of 2 students who were killed. In a statement from Virginia Tech, the university says they are disappointed with the decision and still believe the administration and school law enforcement did their absolute best that day. Still ahead on your news at noon, looking for maximum protection against tornadoes. More and more people are installing their own storm shelters for safety. We'll explain next. Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois wants to know why the state was denied federal disaster funds after a devastating tornado. And yesterday he met with the head of FEMA.
How bad is the damage in a house? Whatever happened to the people who were there?
Durbin visited the scene and says he has never seen that level of devastation. The head of FEMA says he needs more information to back up the claim and is allowing the state to resubmit a more detailed application. Last month's tornadoes killed 7 people in the state of Illinois. It's technically not even tornado season yet, but people in several states have been slammed by those deadly tornadoes. And since there's not much you can do to stop a storm, more people are looking for ways to protect themselves. Lauren Adams reports on the storm shelter sales jump.
But they say this shelter is ready to serve its purpose.
And the shelter you saw there measures 12 by 12 and costs upwards of $15,000, but there is a less expensive model. The 4 by 4 room retails for around $5,500. Muscatine police are stepping up after patrols after a string of violent fights over the past few days, and it's happening in public right downtown. On Saturday, police say about a dozen people got in a fight about a block from the police station that resulted in 7 arrests. Then Tuesday night, about 10 people fought with bats and rocks outside the public library, and police say another fight happened yesterday morning. Violent battles between 2 groups, and police want to put a stop to it before it gets worse.
If we start off with just fists and maybe sticks, then...
Police say when it starts getting warmer, violence tends to escalate. Muscatine's Street Crimes Unit is upping its efforts to end the string of violence. It seems that a very good majority of Iowans are now buckling up. Traffic safety officials say 93% of Iowa drivers use their seatbelts. That's double the percentage back when the law took effect. Most of the QC drivers that we talk to say it's a must, not only for safety, but they really don't want to get slapped with a fine.
I wear from the time I leave my driveway until I get to my destination.
Iowa's seatbelt law started in 1986. The Des Moines Register reports that year just 46% of Iowans were buckling up. And still ahead on your news at noon, ice rescue at sea. We'll show you what it took to rescue thousands of stranded fishermen in a fix. More than 3,000 fishermen had to be rescued in Russia Wednesday after an ice floe carried them out to sea. They drifted on the ice for several hours while they waited for help. The fishermen called a rescue team after they drifted away on the ice. The chief of the firefighting unit involved in the rescue said the ice floe was drifting quickly from the shore. There wasn't enough space in the rescue boats, and some of the fishermen waded into the shore in waist-deep water. Warmer temperatures in the region caused that ice to break away.
You're watching First Alert Weather.
For 50s for overnight lows.
Teresa, thank you. Now, I think we've got a live look right now. This is Rod Blagojevich in the black SUV, and that's what we're told right now. And these cameras are actually following him. He's landed in Colorado at this point. The former Illinois governor will surrender to authorities today and begin his prison sentence there in Colorado. He's going to start serving his 14-year corruption sentence there. Now, Blagojevich will be issued a uniform. He'll work full-time. He'll also share a small room with at least one other inmate. We know he gave a last speech yesterday, and this morning we also saw him talk to tons of media outside his home in Chicago and at the airport there in Chicago. Well, now he's in Colorado, and looks like they're going to be getting out of that black SUV, and he's going to be starting his sentence sometime this afternoon. Now, still ahead on your news at noon, it's an unusual way of letting first responders and medical personnel know about your life-threatening conditions. Why some people are turning to tattoos to get the word out. Next. All right, let's take another quick live look at Rod Blagojevich, former Illinois governor. Now he's walking, looks like down a long sidewalk, probably headed to the prison. Now we don't know right now exactly where this shot is coming from. We do know he's in Littleton, Colorado. He's expected to, turn himself in today to Colorado authorities and start serving that 14-year sentence for corruption charges. Now, earlier today, he's been very talkative with the media this morning, talking to all of them as he left his house this morning, also making a statement right when the evening news started yesterday, 5 p.m. Now, we had some sound from that for everybody. Very talkative before he heads off to start serving that sentence. Now, we're told that he's going to be issued a uniform. Unsure right now if he's wearing it at this point, maybe a pair of jeans. We also know he's going to be sharing a cell. He's going to be working full-time, making a couple $100s a month, and there he goes, off to serve his sentence.
More warm weather as we head into the weekend.
Teresa, thank you. Kind of a controversial story here. Germany is stepping up a campaign to sell World War II bunkers, but not just to protect people's families. It turns out many of the bunkers can be converted into homes or office space. Germany has launched a competition for people to come up with conversion ideas, and since many of the bunkers are in urban population centers, demolishing them can be difficult. The bunker homes do have critics. They warn against ignoring the fact that the bunkers were built by forced labor. And coming up, a look ahead to the stories you'll see later on TV6, plus your First Alert forecast when we come back.
Through the next week.
Temps look good. Well, thanks for joining us on the news at noon. We'll see you right back here for the news at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Have a great day.